What's up, Vloggy Pilots? Vloggy Poncho here. Welcome back to another episode. Today is January 11th, 2024, and I don't think I've gotten the year wrong a single time yet this year, which makes me happy. It's time for a comments review. I want to go through. I've got a good number of comments on yesterday's video. Apparently, failing at Quirtle is the best way to get engagement. But let's see what people talked about. Classic says that the crema/cream dilemma is a great example of zebra thinking from medicine. I did that with Wordle, where I think of more esoteric words rather than simple common ones. Yeah, that's I think it comes from just the words that you're exposed to the most. It kind of gives you a bias to certain categories. Like I eat like crema more than I would use like heavy cream in a dish or something. So some of it's familiarity, but yeah, I think some of it is like, that one time that the wordle was utero, and everyone was like, fucking, I could never guess these words. And it's like, sometimes it's just like brain, and it's like, oh, okay, I should have gotten that one sooner. Kind of funny how it works out. Corey says, first thing I do in the morning is set up for work, put up a Vloggy Poncho. First monitor, baby, putting these bad boys on the TV on the weekends. That's awesome. I love being like a part of anybody's like daily routine. I think that's so cool. Yashom says, don't know if it was mentioned before. It's wild you have your tattoo as a logo. Yeah, it's actually currently my only tattoo, and I'm planning to get a couple more. I want to get one to honor Mr. B. That's his stripe pattern from the top of his head. I have a good picture of it that I'm going to try and convert to like a vector file and maybe put like right here, because it's sort of like the contour of the top of the head, or maybe this one. I don't know. And then I also want to get Megan's tattoo artist, who's done two of her three and does pretty good like original works. I want her to do one based on Frog from Chrono Trigger. So I think he's really cool. Jairus says, here in the UK, we don't use pounds or kilos to measure weight. For some reason, we use stones. Yeah, England has the weirdest mix of things. Like, you all use some like standard SI units and some freedom units. It's kind of confusing to me. But stone is one of the weird ones where it's like, what is that, 14 pounds per stone or something? It's just a random number. Bow Katie Wow says, I like to use audio in Wordle to get most info on the vowels. I like that, except that I like to use, I think video might be better because it has an E in it. And E is the most common vowel, but I don't think the V is really getting you much. Some audio maybe is better overall. If there's a word with four vowels that has an E, you could probably start with that. None comes to mind at the top of my head. Well, Q, but that has two repeated letters. Cardigan says, I only got 3 today. I play this game like golf with friends. Go for it and don't think about it. That's fair. Man Like Ando and Chewy were both in physical pain from me not understanding that upper was a word. I even at one point thought that it could end in ER and then just threw that out for some reason. And Classic chimes in for a second time. He says, Poncho, are you not showering? According to your tracker, you've only showered 3 times this month. I don't want to judge or nothing, but that's nasty, man. Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's quite as bad as it looks. For one, this beginning of this month was a holiday, so I got kind of lazy over the long break. But in general, I only try to shower about every other day. I don't really need to shower daily, and we keep our house pretty cold, so I pretty much never sweat. If I'm not doing manual labor or something, I don't really get smelly. Still wear deodorant and brush my teeth every day, just like maintenance stuff, but most days I don't even wear shoes enough to get my feet smelly. So it's like, and the fact that I don't have hair that I need to be like washing and maintaining on a daily basis, which I think you're not even supposed to wash your hair every day. I don't know. Mostly I shower to if I start to get BO from like getting sweaty or doing some work outside or something, or if I want to get like fresh and nice for going on a date, or if it's been a couple days and I need to wash my beard again. That's about it. It's kind of nice. I live a very sedentary lifestyle. Honestly, as I start working out more, I'm gonna have to start showering every day after I work out. So I think that two of those will probably end up tracking together. I'll be showering after today, so We'll check on a fourth time. Don't worry. We'll get the numbers up. And then Vloggy Poncho, check. This has been a really, really productive week at work, and that makes me feel like very satisfied. It's a very satisfying feeling. Monday and Tuesday, I got a ton of work done. Didn't have a whole lot of meetings. Was able to just put my head down and finish some things I've been working on for a while. And then yesterday, I had like 7 or 8 meetings. It was like 4.5 hours out of the day, which is way more than I usually have. But it was a lot of good stuff, a lot of good discussions. Progress was made, decisions were made. It was good. So we had a little relaxation last night. Had a 6-pack of beer and watched Taskmaster on YouTube, which is a delightful way to unwind, in my opinion. All right, let's take on today's Quirtle, and I'm going to try and go faster today. So let's start with brain, since I mentioned it earlier. Now I want a word with an E, and let's try E and O. Can we do a canoe? We already have an A, so let's try something else. How about, let's see, E. We could do exact, but that uses another. Exist. No. E and U may not have been the best ones to try and put together. I don't think Freud will go through because it's a proper name. Pardon me. Can't think of another word that has an E and a U in it. How about quest? Let's do that. We'll get the EU in with a QUE. Okay, and then just any word with an O. Hopefully an O and a Y. How about phony? I think that's... Oh, we already have an N. Let's see if we can replace that with something. PHY. Another N's fine. All right, cool. So that's all the vowels. All right, looks like top left we got the most information. We've got OU in the first 3 spots, and then it ends in NT. So it's looking like mount, perhaps, would work. Is there a word that's more common than mount? Yeah, the first letter there is going to be a guessing game. I mean, it could be fount. Is that the only other one? I'm going to leave it for now, and maybe we'll have an F come in on another word to confirm. Oh man, we don't have much on these others. What is the bottom right word? We've gotten so many letters knocked off and I haven't hit anything. A and a Y. Okay, it's got to have a D or a G in it to fill in some of those vowel spots, I think. So this is like baggy. Daddy could be it. Oh, God. If it's got a triple D, I don't know if I'm ever going to guess it. Top right, HEA, but not in those places. Could be, doesn't have a TH, could be a CH, could end in CH, but it doesn't have A or E in the middle, so it probably doesn't end in CH. It doesn't start with CH either. Could be like... Well, none of those really come out, do they? What other letters go with H? You can do a PH, but we tried that already. SH is not possible. CH is an option, but I couldn't see how it would fit. No T. What other letters go with H? I guess it could end in GH, but I don't think with an A and an E it's going to be a GH word. Those tend to have OUGH, yeah. Well, it must be something else that's just using the H as a regular vowel, which means it's almost certainly the first letter. So let's try... What other words can end here and use an A somewhere? Heart has A in the 3rd spot. We've already used R and T, so that's a terrible guess. Heady, we've already tried Y. I would like to get a D in there. I kind of almost don't mind having the A in the 3rd spot again. But there's no other way to end it. How about delay? Let's try delay. Because it couldn't be... We haven't used D yet, or L. It puts the E and the A in different places. I don't know if we already know the Y is wrong, though. De-hat. Sir, you have been de-hatted. We could try a word with another vowel cluster or consonant cluster at the end. That's a word? Help. H-E-A. That's not a word. What does that mean? I don't know what that is, but apparently it's a word. I'm not going to use it because I don't think it's a word. I'm thinking like they've already used P, so it's not pedal. That one's got me stumped. Let's go to the bottom right. We can probably think of a word that uses an R, an A, and an E. Yeah, something like ready, reads, reach. No H at the end, no A in the third spot. Maybe it's another ER word, so let's try something like pager. How about logger? We haven't used L or G. It could be logger. All right, well, got the structure right. And that solved an A and added an E to the upper right. Okay. All right, we're getting there. What other words fit down there? Fader, waiter, perhaps? Could be waiter. Tempted to get D and W in there anyway. Damn. All right, we're going to have to come back. Oh, we've lost now because we've not gotten a word in the first 6. Damn. It sucks when you missed on your first survey and you just end up having these guesses. If it had been mount, we'd be done there. Logger or waiter were both fine guesses, I think. I mean, maybe there's a more common word. Like maybe it's faker. I mean, it could be anything. Like sometimes you just get screwed. We should have started on another starting word, I think, for these, and we would have gotten there gotten a lot closer. What a shame. What a shame. In the upper, geez, we got nothing in the bottom left. What the hell fits there? It's like there's no consonants left, dude. It doesn't have any. Yeah, none from the early guesses. C J V caver. What the hell kind of? What? Is it rarer? Is it a triple R? Oh my god! Triple letter. These octordals have been, or these quordals have been brutal. Rarer. Wow. Damn, and the fact that this R wasn't in any of the 3 correct spots, that's terrible luck too. Damn. Okay, this was, what was the top left one? Count. Sure. We would have gotten there eventually, I think. Bottom right was dally. I guess I was not too far off with my daddy thought. Upper right, have. That might be a decent like survey word. AELVH. Uses some good stuff. All right, let me show you the image of today, which is a 3-player chessboard. This is something that I really wish was like a more popular thing and like a better thing, frankly, because I've not seen an implementation of 3-player chess that really works. They all have these weird problems and like workarounds. Like this one, for example, if you look, you can see my mouse cursor. Yeah. If you look here, you'll see there's a wall. There's a dark line in between the gray pieces and the black pieces. And that's to indicate that you cannot move through that space horizontally, I guess would be. Yeah. Perimeterously in the circle. Circumferentially. Because otherwise the rooks on everybody's team would immediately be taking each other. And then you'd be like running along the opponent's back row immediately, and that's not how chess is supposed to work. So they just artificially said, oh, you can't do that. And then also on these boards, I like that these diagonal lines are marked because they kind of have to curve through the center and come back around. But maybe it's easier to see in person, but on the picture, it's hard to tell where these actually go. Anyway, the other main issue with this design of the board is that all of the middle pawns are automatically passed pawns because the pawns don't march toward each other, they march toward the center. So you have to either add like extra rows, or rather, I guess it would be extra ranks, files, I don't know, extra rings in this version of the board in order to make it take longer for the pawns to get to promotion. Or you have to find some way to make the pawns actually interact with each other. So I think the next version of the board is a slightly better take on this, but honestly, I don't know how the middle part of the board works. For some of it, you could kind of imagine like, all right, this bishop would go diagonally across black pieces, so it would go there, 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 there. It's kind of a curve. It just follows the diagonal pieces. That's pretty easy. But then, let's say the bishop was where this pawn is on the very far right. If it would go here, here, there, and then I guess that one. So it has to go like off the opposite corner. So what if a bishop came from here and went across this weird kite piece the other way? Where does it go from here? Does it switch to going on the white squares, or does it pick one of these two black squares to go to? I legitimately don't know how this would work, but I do think it's kind of more obvious, at least where the pawns are headed, right? They're going to follow a curved track like this that's still 8 squares long and heads towards enemy pawns. So this is something I really like about this board, is that it's like these 4 pawns are marching towards these 4. These 4 are marching towards those. These 4 are marching towards those. And that seems really, that seems like really fun. I feel like this fixes one of the big problems with chess, which is you can never beat someone who's better than you unless they're like having a really bad day. So the game's kind of over before it starts most of the time. At least for like amateur players that are just playing for fun. So having a third player has that kind of like MTG commander effect, where if someone starts to pull ahead, now they're in a 2v1 because both of the other players are going to not be attacking each other while someone else is so far ahead. And I think that red is definitely the right color for the third group of pieces. I don't like the gray choice on the previous board. I'm just not sure how the middle transfer works on these, because if you get to pick which way you go, that's kind of weird, and maybe that could work. If your bishop switches from the black pieces to the white squares, rather, that would be confusing. Kind of goes against how bishops work. But I like that this board at least looks like it would be a 3-player game, whereas this one looks like it's 3 players who are all racing to promote their pawns, and then 5 queens just start sweeping around the board. This also has some weird side effects of being a circular board. Pieces can be captured from both directions. So if you imagine that there was let's say you had a queen here, and then you had a pawn here, and then the enemy had a juicy piece right over here that you want to capture. You would think that the pawn is blocking the capture because your queen can't move past the pawn to the piece that it wants. But yeah, it can. It just goes all this way. It just goes around the other way. Unless there's a piece blocking somewhere else on that rank. Yeah, it's like in order for a piece to be protected from capture from rooks and queens, it has to be protected on 2 sides, which is interesting, but again, not really 3-player chess. You're making a new game. All right, that's enough weird ranting for today. Thanks for watching. I'm going to go take a shower. See y'all tomorrow.